Coming up on Global Business, healthy rebound. China's factories show consistent recovery in January while the non-manufacturing sector continues to expand. Relief measures. Chinese cities ease property purchase restrictions after receiving policy autonomy from the central government. Growth trend. A BRICS wealth report says the bloc has $45 trillion in investable wealth, while the number of millionaires is expected to surge by 85% in 10 years. Welcome to Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Xia Vandenberg. China's factory activity has shown a steady recovery, with the Purchasing Managers' Index for the manufacturing sector touching 49.2 in January, marking a 0.2 percentage point increase from the previous month. Recent data from the National Bureau of Statistics attributes this rise to the recovery of both domestic and global demand. The PMI serves as a measure of business sentiment among larger factory operators, with the 50-point mark serving as a threshold between expansion and contraction. The Purchasing Manager Index of major sectors such as equipment manufacturing, high-tech manufacturing, and consumer goods manufacturing all indicate expansion. On top of that, China's non-manufacturing sector continued its expansion in January, with business activities in the sector reaching 50.7, reflecting a 0.3-point increase from the previous month and marking a second consecutive month of growth. China's manufacturing sectors are undergoing a new wave of reform driven by technological advancements. This high-tech innovation is significantly impacting the development of the new energy vehicle sector. According to the latest data from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, NEV sales accounted for a third of the total vehicle sales in 2023. Our reporter Zhang Shixuan delves into the technological innovations behind the industry's growth.
On China's roads, electric vehicles can be easily identified by their special green plates. They have become increasingly common. More than 20 million NEVs are now running on China's roads, though that's just 6% of the total car numbers in the country. NEVs have been taking an increasing share of vehicle sales. Last year, they accounted for almost a third of the total sales in production in the country. No wonder the number of NEV brands have been rising significantly in recent years. There is an estimation saying the country has more than 70 NEV brands, meaning the competition to innovate is fierce. One of the most obvious outcomes from the tech development has been lowering costs. Chinese AI tech giant SenseTime has been one of the leading players using AI to provide applications like high-speed driving assistance without needing to use too much computing power.
We launched a new function last year, high-speed driving assistance. More car makers will prefer to have functions developed on chip computing platforms of medium and low cost. It's of huge market opportunities.
That application has lately been installed in a car model produced by a Chinese NEV startup.
We were the first in China when we announced mass production of a car model that has premium high-speed driving assistance on ATI chip.
As of last June, SenseTime's tech has been applied to more than 60 car models. Big-name car makers including SAIC Motor, GAC Motor, and NIO are all using it. More than 36 million units have been equipped with its tech products.
Every year, there would be a new tech solution.
That's a huge breakthrough compared with the traditional car industry, where big-name car makers would require 3 to 6 years to confirm the application of a new tech.
Our company now has more than 50,000 GPUs. SenseAuto is now using more than 10,000 units. For a solution using big AI models, it has to be trained with several hundred GPUs in several weeks or even a month. If we have adequate computing power, we can conduct multiple experiments together and test solutions with higher requirement for computing power.
SenseTime now has computing centers in multiple big cities. At the beginning of 2022, the company started the operation of its artificial intelligence data center in Shanghai, one of the biggest of its kind in Asia. These have allowed the company to train large AI models to make smarter driving systems, which is the next major task for the tech developer. In mid-November, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology announced a pilot program for intelligent connected vehicles. The criteria include mass production capability and higher-level automated functions. Cities such as Beijing and Shanghai have stepped up to permit the first batch of car makers to test some of these vehicles. But extra functions aren't the only factor in developing a more mature EV market.
One is the battery-related, the electrification-related technologies, such as the new kinds of battery, the BMS, the control system, and the other manufacturing-related technology. The other perspective is the autonomous driving perspective, including software, including the high computing platforms, the chips, semiconductor related, and the other one is infrastructure, such as the faster charging infrastructure and the battery swapping related, equipping with the new business models.
According to China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, new energy vehicles maintained strong momentum in both production and sales, both reaching 9.5 million, presenting an increase of more than one-third. Zhang Shixuan, ICS for CGTN, Shanghai.
Shanghai partially eased restrictions on the city's property sector on Tuesday. Unmarried non-local residents who have contributed to Shanghai's Social Security Fund or have paid individual taxes in Shanghai for more than 5 consecutive years are now allowed to purchase one apartment outside the city's Outer Ring Expressway. Shanghai was not the first among China's 4 megacities to adjust restrictive policies. On Saturday, Guangzhou scrapped purchase restrictions on residential homes above 120 square meters, a move that opened the door for non-local residents to buy apartments in the city. Compared to the rather conservative easing measures, Suzhou, which neighbors Shanghai, was more bold. The city's housing regulator scrapped all restrictions on the same day when Shanghai announced its partial easing. The 3 cities' relief measures came after China's central government allowed local authorities full freedom in deciding housing policies to rebalance demand and supply. In addition, China's financial regulator said earlier it supports local authorities making adjustments to mortgage rates guidances if needed. China's property market is undergoing a period of adjustment as supply and demand are rebalanced. That's what Hong Hao, chief economist of Grow Investment Group, said in our program earlier. He also called for more policy support going forward to help stabilize sales. Take a listen.
I think going forward, we need to quickly stabilize property sales so that developers can recycle the cash and apply it to new projects, new constructions. And then, also we need to stabilize the expectation for house price going forward, to reinstill confidence in the sector. So there's still much work to be done. And I think, we are sort of in the middle of the process right now.
You're watching Global Business, still to come. Growth trend. A BRICS wealth report says the bloc has $45 trillion in investable wealth, while the number of millionaires is expected to surge by 85% in 10 years.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global Business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business, only on CGTN.
To Europe now, angry French farmers who are on their 3rd day of protests say they're not being paid enough and are choked by taxes and green rules and face unfair competition from abroad. Protesters set up dozens of blockades on highways as tractors pushed to inch their siege of Paris closer to the capital on Wednesday in an effort to press governments to ease environmental rules and help protect them from rising costs and cheap imports. It's reported that protests have spread across Europe. Spanish farmers have said they will join the movement, while 1,000 Italian farmers are planning to take part in rallies in Brussels on Thursday to press EU leaders meeting in the capital to act. As French farmers continue to protest in EU's biggest agricultural producer, we find out what is at stake for the European Union. Earlier, CGTN talked to Jackie Vreeland, a senior research fellow at the Global Policy Institute, to learn more.
In France, the phenomenon, the unrest of farmers is widespread. We've seen problems in Germany, we've seen Poland, Belgium, even in southern countries, in Spain and Italy, there's some protests. So it is a wide-ranging protest due to the fact that farmers' incomes are not increasing. On the opposite, they are decreasing. At the same time, they have to face measures adopted by European Union in order to fight climate change, which they think are going against their own practices and making their job even more difficult and less, especially regarding the issue of pesticides. And also, farmers are very upset with the idea of free trade agreements with some regions where their imports will be far more competitive than the products made in Europe. In the European Union, costs are high, especially in a country like France. Wage costs and social security costs are very high compared to other parts of the European Union, such as Eastern countries, and even more so compared to countries such as South America and New Zealand.
China will actively support Russia's chairmanship of the BRICS group and is ready to work with all parties. That's what Chinese Vice Foreign Minister and Coordinator of China's BRICS affairs, Ma Zhaoxu, said on Tuesday during the first meeting of the BRICS coordinators in 2024 in Moscow. Ma praised the fast development of the BRICS mechanism, saying the expanded bloc has significantly increased international influence. He also said China will work with BRICS members to deepen and expand practical cooperation. Also on Tuesday, international investment migration advisory firm Henley & Partners released a report on BRICS wealth. The report says the total investable wealth currently held by the BRICS countries amounts to $45 trillion and its millionaire population is expected to rise by a staggering 85% over the next decade. The report said private wealth in China had grown by a remarkable 92% in the past decade, and its number of millionaires tops the BRICS bloc. A Chinese delegation led by the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade is attending the joint meeting of the Malaysia-China Business Council in Kuala Lumpur. It is the first face-to-face gathering since the pandemic and has added significance and expectations, with this year marking the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Ryan Melzer reports from Kuala Lumpur.
Business people from China and Malaysia, representing multiple industries, cities, regions, and trade organizations, met with one common aim: to build on the already blossoming trade and investment between the countries. Already for the past 15 years, China has been Malaysia's #1 trading partner. China has also become among the biggest foreign investors. The Chinese delegation was led by the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, CPPIT.
This year we will continue hosting these important events, welcoming the continued support of the Malaysian business community. We recently signed agreements with multiple institutions and companies in Malaysia, showing our willingness to collaborate and promote a broader, deeper and higher level cooperation.
Malaysia is particularly looking to China to help it achieve its goals of advancing its industry by collaborating in areas such as electric vehicles, green technology, and ICT. Increasingly, Chinese companies are looking to use Malaysia as a hub and springboard to the wider region.
Malaysia can serve as a very interesting location for Chinese businesses to station in Malaysia build very deep localization with Malaysian businesses, and eventually scale the height in Asia, or at least in Southeast Asia.
I hope that business communities in Malaysia can see the development opportunities of China and Malaysia, actively promote cooperation with China, and share the dividends of China reform, opening up, and economic development.
Delegates and leaders from both countries will hope that 2024 turns out to be a banner year, not just for diplomacy, but for trade, investment, and people-to-people ties as well. Ryan Meltzer, CGTN, Kuala Lumpur.
China's cross-border e-commerce, characterized as a novel form and model of foreign trade, has experienced substantial growth in recent years. The Central Economic Work Conference has outlined plans to take further measures to enhance trade in this sector. CGTN Global Business has introduced a new series titled Surfing the E-commerce Wave, which delves into a range of topics, including supportive measures from local governments and the expansion of the Chinese shopping sites in overseas markets. The series aims to explore the fresh growth opportunities and challenges associated with cross-border e-commerce. China's cross-border e-commerce is booming, and the trend is expected to continue this year, especially when combined with live streaming, says iMedia Research. According to its latest report, China's cross-border live streaming e-commerce market is expected to exceed $41 billion in 2023, with a year-on-year growth rate of 155%. And in 2025, the market says will reach over $118 billion. Among platforms, TikTok ranks top as the major cross-border e-commerce space globally. As of March 2022, TikTok has more than 1 billion global monthly users, a quarter of whom made purchases when surfing on the platform. Meanwhile, China has stepped up efforts to boost Silk Road e-commerce in recent years, an initiative aimed at improving digital economic cooperation among countries participating in the Belt and Road Initiative. In Shanghai's Minhang district, a live streaming facility has been set up to sell Silk Road products. Over 20 foreign streamers from Belt and Road countries are working there. Reporter Tang Xiaofan spoke to some of them to find out what it's like to live stream in China.
I'm at a large live streaming facility in Minhang district. There are around 60 studios here, and many of the products sold here are imported from countries participating in the Belt and Road Initiative. Well, there are many facilities like this in China, but what surprised me about this one is that many of its live stream hosts working here are foreign nationals. I'm hoping to talk with some of them and find out what it's like to work here.
When I met Russian live stream vendor Alexandra, she had just started her first live stream of the day. She speaks very fluent Chinese and appeared natural on camera.
During the live stream, many people can see you. You can send them the samples, you can tell about the culture, you can, introduce your country, and it, of course, can help you to sell the goods.
Pakistan jeweler Chowdhury just started live streaming about a year ago. He always observes and learns from popular Chinese live stream hosts to make his show more appealing to the Chinese market.
We have to be very particular when we design our sentences, and we have to work a lot on the language side as well.
Chowdhury also owns a retail store in a downtown shopping mall. With the help of his exploits in e-commerce, he's seeing an annual growth of 30% in sales. And he's training more staff to sell products on the live stream.
When the audience see a Pakistani host on the online media, so they feel very connected. They say we are friends. We are sometimes they say in Chinese Pathiye. It feels very good.
More foreign merchants like Chowdhury are turning to live streaming. The director of this live stream facility told me that foreign streamers from over 10 countries and regions have worked here since the facility opened its doors in November of 2022. Their total online sales volume has surpassed 100 million yuan in 2023.
Cosmopolitan 是大都会，这个是比较甜一点的。E-commerce can reach many people. For example, China is very big, so people from many places can buy the same product online. We are getting used to it. I mean, we are still at the beginning, we are starting it, but I think it's a very nice way of selling here in China.
On the second floor of the facility, over 80,000 products from around the world are on display. Half of them are what are referred to locally as Belt and Road products.
This building mainly sells consumer goods. During the China International Import Expo in 2023, Pakistani exhibitors live-streamed here for 6 days, selling products worth over 2 million yuan.
It's part of Shanghai's efforts to engage in trade with countries participating in the Belt and Road Initiative. Besides live streams, foreign merchants also benefit from services ranging from warehousing and tax rebates to customs and financial settlements. For the past 10 years, China has maintained its position as the largest online retail market in the world. In 2022, China's e-commerce transaction volume reached 43.83 trillion yuan, a 3.5% increase from the previous year. The Silk Road e-commerce accounted for over 30% of the total. Tang Xiaofan, SS for CGTN, Shanghai.
Now, for more on China's cross-border live streaming e-commerce, we're joined by Chen Jiahe, Chief Investment Officer of Novum Arcade Technologies. Jiahe, good to see you. So what do you think are the main reasons behind the success of China's live streaming plus cross-border e-commerce model?
Well, basically, there are two reasons. The first is that Chinese products are really so popular. If you go to log on to websites like Taobao, Jingdong, and Pinduoduo, you can see so many products. I mean, if you go to some other countries, you don't have these products. You know, if you go to the local markets in China, you see hundreds of thousands of products over here. So this is one thing. I mean, China is currently the world's largest producer of consumer goods. There are so many things that you just can't imagine here. The second is that currently live streaming is really a good way to introduce the Chinese products to buyers around the world. I mean, in the old days, you don't have this kind of live streaming short videos. What you have to do is that you have to read through a long description, words by words to understand something about how this product is going to work. It's a much difficult way compared with watching a live streaming or a short video. It's much easier if you just, watch the live streaming. You can even, communicate with the people who is doing the live streaming. It makes the shopping much easier and much more funny. So these two things coming together, this cross-border live streaming selling is becoming so popular in China.
Yeah. And this is not a new concept anymore. So how has live streaming e-commerce developed in China in the past years, and what trends can we expect to see in the future?
Well, if you look at the live streaming shopping in China, it has been thrived for years. This is the reason why some of these people doing live streaming shopping has been going to the international market, because they have been so successful in the local markets. If you look at the past few years, the increased efficiency of buying, it's been really the most rapid growth sector of the economy, all these kind of things. People start to spend a lot of money through live streaming. And looking into the future, I think people just want better products and better things. If you look at the details, is that you probably have much better product quality in the future. I mean, in the past, people might be focusing more on the price, but with the increasing of income and the increasing of the leisure time, people want better product quality. They want better delivery service. They want better customer service, and they want better product insurance. You don't want to buy something and break up in 7 days. Nowadays, people are just more keen to spend some kind of insurance money to make sure that the product is really good. So these are the future. I mean, in the past, we talk about efficiency, we talk about speed. And in the future, I think we will be talking about the quality.
Yeah. And what do you think are some of the current issues facing cross-border live streaming e-commerce, and what areas still need improvement to promote this further development?
Very good question. We always think about what we can do in the future. I think there are basically 3 areas we want to look at. The first is that cross-border e-commerce always face a lot of pressure and fluctuation from things like taxation, trading policy between different countries. So for this area, it is the job of the governments to do their work to make the e-commerce trading much more smooth compared with the past. The second that the logistic and the delivery service is not that good when you talk about cross-border service compared with the e-commerce in China. So this is for the delivery businesses to make sure that the delivery network will be more efficient in the future. And finally, the thing is left for the internet sellers is that when you sell the product to some customers in a different country and different culture, you have to understand the language, you have to understand the local culture, the local market, the local lives. Why do people thousands of miles away from your hometown need this product as well? So it is the job of the sellers to try to understand, all the global markets around the world.
Yeah, that's a good thing, though. There's still a lot of room to grow and a lot of untapped market to tap in the future. Thank you so much for your insights. Always great to have you on the show. Chen Jiahe, Chief Investment Officer of Novum Arcade Technologies. TikTok has made a significant acquisition of the majority of the Indonesian e-commerce company Tokopedia. The move is expected to reshape Indonesia's online marketplace and provide support to small businesses. CGTN's Sakina Aluwalia reports from Jakarta.
After a brief pause, TikTok is back, turning viewers into buyers. The Chinese social media app is reshaping the future of shopping in Indonesia. TikTok invested $1.5 billion into Tokopedia, Indonesia's homegrown e-commerce website.
Tokopedia's collaboration with TikTok aims to empower local MSMEs in Indonesia and help to contribute to national economic growth, especially through digital channels. In principle, TikTok will be the platform to display a variety of products to consumers. Payment will be processed by Tokopedia. During the pilot period, we will migrate the back-end system of TikTok to Tokopedia, and we will ensure a seamless experience in our users' interface.
TikTok has transformed Felicia's life. She sells unique items on her online shop sourced all the way from China. With TikTok, she reaches hundreds of customers daily.
I'm very optimistic about this merger. I can go live again to sell our products. I tried going live in other platforms, but the reach is just not as wide as TikTok.
TikTok's investment is clearly a game changer. It's integrating 2 digital ecosystems to dominate the market.
TikTok is not just a social media app anymore. It's becoming a go-to shopping destination. And with Tokopedia's infrastructure, both companies are expected to capture a significant market share. Experts say they are projected to take over at least 40% of Indonesia's e-commerce market.
In a country where traditional markets are still common, this deal signifies an important shift. Indonesia, a country of over 270 million people, is beginning to fully embrace online shopping and the digital economy.
Data show that Indonesian users prefer to shop on social media apps. This includes other apps aside from TikTok. There has been a massive change in the way people shop in the past few years. This is what sets TikTok apart from other competitors. They are able to offer exactly what consumers are looking for in this day and age.
TikTok and Tokopedia is already redefining that ecosystem, promising a future where shopping is not just a transaction, but a valuable experience and a part of everyday life. Sakina Aluwalia, CGTN, Jakarta.
And that will do it for this edition of Global Business. I'm Xia Vandenberg in Beijing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.